Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Object 705. It's a Tier 9 Soviet heavy tank. It's located on the eastbourne of Studzianki, and it's under the command of SlyMeerkat of SKIL. And alongside him is Slimes in the Conqueror of the Banklang. I got that the wrong way round, didn't I? Should be in the Conqueror is Slimes of the Banklang. Okay, 705. Well, you can have a variety of guns in this one. Which one is he elected to use? Oh, he's going with the 122. That's the BL13 gun, which is actually capable of 440 alpha, 248mm of pen with the standard APCR, and with the heat rounds that goes up to 315. He could have had the stock, which is a 122mm, or the 13cm, which is the top gun. And I think he's looked around because he suddenly realised he's all alone and he's at the factory whilst all his teammates are going up to the north, including Slimes. So I think he's feeling kind of alone. Only a T103 has joined him in the centre. Now the problem is that the Object 705 is kind of weak on armour at the rear, but it's very strong at the front. Of course, it's a rear-mounted turret with the engine up front, and it's got an incredibly strong hull with very, very well-angled armour as well. Now, it was actually a rival to the IS-7. The original design was built by one of the Kirov factories, and I think it was the one at Chelyabinsk, but they also had another one at Leningrad, and they were competing for the title of the top turret, the top heavy tank. Well, he managed to get around into the T95. Got a high roll actually as well. Trying to do the same again. No, didn't get it this time. Now, the reason they came out with the 705, oh, we just lost the T103. The reason they came out with it is the German disease, you might say. What's the German disease? Well, basically, the Germans kept increasing the weight of their tanks progressively during the war, and they just kept getting heavier and heavier and more sluggish because, of course, they didn't have an engine to push the things about. So more weight meant worse designs in a sense. Even though they had more armor, they were worse because they didn't have enough bridges and river crossings that they could actually get across. You can see T95's managed to get into the center, and we're being threatened by a 4503 who's coming up, managed to get around into the Tiger. Yeah, he's kind of indicating to his teammates, look, there's a 4503 there, and I'm about to get wiped out unless you do something. Well, we take a round in the rear, and I think that was an 88mm round, and the 4503 goes down. Thank goodness for that. But that IS-32 is still down there in the trench, although he can't penetrate our front, because look at the angled armor on the front of this vehicle. It's so incredibly well angled. Shells literally bounce off the front of them. I think you've noticed that Sly has got 2 marks of excellence on his gun. Yes, he's at that stage. He's desperately trying to get his 3rd mark, and he's pushing it as hard as he can. That's why he's opting to use the premium ammo. So why wasn't the 705 built? Well, the Soviets, who were actually in charge of tank production, realized that the war was over and they couldn't afford to build more and more heavy tanks. So what they did is they decided to cut back, and one of the reasons they decided to cut back was because if they were going to invade Europe, they needed to have tanks which were capable of crossing bridges, and a big heavy 70 or 80 ton tank couldn't do that. So what they needed to do was light the tanks, and that's why they got the T54 and the T55, which were lightweight mediums capable of actually crossing bridges on an invasion. He's certainly dealing a lot of damage now, getting nice shots into these guys down in the south, but he's kind of highlighting to his teammates that all the enemy are down here. Well, they're either opposing him directly across the railway line, or they're down in the south and shooting up at him. So he's having to take precautions to keep under cover. And it's that IS-32 that's keeping him spotted to the guys down there in the south. He's guessing where they are now.
I need your help.
So around about, they started production of the the Object 705 in June of 1945, after they saw some of the heavier German tanks like that were actually in pre-production, like the Mouse. A nice hit in the ISU-152. The problem was that these projects were not necessary anymore. They'd won the war, or the Great Patriotic War as they called it, and so it wasn't necessary for them to build heavy tanks. So the production office, or the production ministry, decided to cancel any tank that was above 50 tons in weight. And this one comes out at 70 tons in weight. The IS-7 was well over 70 tons, so of course that was cancelled. And this was the rival to the IS-7, so of course this one was going to be cancelled too. He's made himself a nice little barrier there using the T-103. He's not building a nest, he's building a redoubt. He's trying to protect himself from being shot in the rear by these guys down here. Oh, CS-59? Nice accurate gun, isn't it? The 122. And Slimes has come back. He's come to our rescue. Oh, at last we've got somebody who's protecting us. Okay, now can we get some more damage? Still got to worry about those enemies just across the railway line. So they carried on with the project for the 705 for a while, but then come 1948 they actually cancelled the project after all, because it was just too heavy for them to continue, which is a bit of a pity really, because they also lost all the most of the design drawings, not all of them. Oh, he just killed the ISU-152. Well, that's useful. That's his first kill. Slimes has got a kill as well. It seems the enemy now has the copse of trees to the north. A Barask is up there. But a lot of our guys have fallen back, and they've gone back to this, to the back of the railway line. And nearby, oh dear, we've got the CS-59 nearby. There's the IS-32. Oh, it looks like Slimes killed the IS-32. But that CS-59 is very close by. Oh dear, the CS-59 kills Slimes instead of us. Okay, there's the Barask. One shot, and the Barask couldn't penetrate with his 105mm. Well, that puts us equal on scores at the moment. There's a Canonian Jagdpanzer down there. There's the CS-59 trying to get the kill. No, didn't get it. And he's very frustrated by that, shaking his gun in frustration. Standard reload, by the way, if you wondered, for the BL-13. According to my list, it's showing 11.51 seconds. And we can see that Sly's got it down to 9.05, which is quite a good drop. 2-second drop. Okay, the A phase one's moved up across the railway line. Now, should we go in there and try and kill him? Well, he's tempted. He's very tempted to do it. But I think the A phase one's is waiting for him, and he could get hit from the north as well. So I think he's not going to try, not just yet. There's the A phase one. He's actually waiting down the south. Okay. Going to go around the corner. We got spotted, but that's the A phase one. Go around the outside of the 4503. Here he is, fighting out with the cupola. He got around into our tracks, but we got his cupola, and he's out the game. That's 3 kills now for Sly. Tiger. I think he was tempted, but he wasn't loaded, so he couldn't get the shot off. But that Tiger, well, he's got a lot of health, so it's going to take a while. Oh, he just got hit with in the tracks with the Unis 03. Didn't get through the armor. Okay, we've got a KV4. He's a one-shot, and he's down. 416, and there's the T25 too as well. Now he's got a 90mm guns. The Tiger's got an 88. There's the units. Tries to get him, but the shell fell short. Tiger one side. Okay, T25-2 managed to get a round in and then avoid the return shell. And the Tiger, we block him and took a round in the tracks from T25-2. So yes, this is now beginning a bit of a crossfire situation where the enemy could come around from two different directions at once. But I think he's now wants to take one of them out. Pumps one into the Tiger to start with. He'll need at least 2 more shots. Does take one in the tracks. T25-2. Can he reload in time? No, he can't. So he can't try for a quick shot. Go for the Tiger again. Pumps another one in. He's burned up all the APCR. He's going through the heat rounds now. And this is costing him a fortune. The Tiger 1 goes down to our Waffenträger. And now the T25-2. And he's the next kill. That's 5 kills now. He's 1 short of getting a top gun. Can he kill the Udas to get the top gun? Oh, no. The M449 Liberté takes the kill and denies him a top gun. Here's the end of battle results, and I've never seen this happen before. This was not only a first ace tanker game for SlyMeerkat in the Object 705, it was also his 3rd Mark of Excellence game. Yes, he actually managed to 3rd mark it and then get his ace at the same time. He's never had an ace tanker in this one before. It's a difficult tank to play, but he did play it well. He got a 5 for effect for doing more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle. He got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 5, which is 1 short of a top gun and 1/3 of the enemy team. He got a shell proof for blocking more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle. A spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage, as well as a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him. A bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 8. On top of all that, he got 3 battle hero medals. He got the high caliber for dealing the most damage in that game, a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team, as well as a steel wall for blocking the most damage in the game. It just goes to show how strong the armor is on an Object 705, that it can block damage because it's very, very highly angled armor. And I'll try and show you the graphics on that later. His win rate from the game, 14,489, which is super unicum and a lot more. He really excelled in this game. And this actually took place in August of last year. I'm sorry it's taken so long a time to actually get this one onto video. We look at the team score, we can see that Sly got the highest damage with 6,447. No one else was really near him. Slimes managed to get the 2nd highest with 2,914 in the Conqueror. 3rd highest damage turned out to be the CS59 on the enemy team. The guy who killed Slimes, he got 2,486 hit points of damage. When it came to kills, yep, Sly's got that one too. 5 kills to SlyMeerkat. 3 kills went to the IS-152 on the enemy team. And in fact, that was one of the ones that Sly killed. And 2 kills went to Slimes in the Conqueror, and also the IS-32, the one who was being such a nuisance for so long, and the Canonian Jagdpanzer 105 on the enemy team as well. When it came to base XP, yes, he's got that one too. So he's got the top in all 3 columns. SlyMeerkat got 1,660 base experience points, 1,135 going to the Sharp Future 4, and 912 going to Slimes in the Conqueror. He fired 35 rounds of ammunition. You only get 40 rounds of ammunition of 122mm ammunition in the 705. If you opted to go with the 13cm gun, you only get 30 rounds of ammunition. So, of course, if he'd actually had the 13cm, he would have run out of ammo. He got 24 direct hits on the enemy, 17 penetrations, and 6,447 hit points of which 3,204 were at more than 300 meters. Most of those shots were the ones down to the south, killing the enemy tanks that were trying to cross the south. 20 hits received from the enemy, only 5 of which actually penetrated. He had 15 non-penetrations. Most of those just bounced off the front of the tank or off the top of the turret. 2,845 hit points blocked by armor. 5 enemy vehicles spotted, 12 enemy vehicles damaged, and 5 killed. So there was only 3 enemy tanks he didn't touch him in that game, or he didn't touch. And 2,766 hit points of spotting assist. Now, it did cost him in that battle because he used a lot of premium ammo. And although he earned nearly, 95,000 credits earned, he actually lost 69,501 credits in the entire battle because his ammunition resupply costs were huge. 2,490 experience points out of it as well. So quite an achievement there for SlyMeerkat in not only getting his first ace tanker in the game, but also getting his 3rd mark of excellence as well at the same time. The 705 is a very, very interesting tank to play. Should have been the alternative to the IS-7, but they never built it. And what we know of what it looks like, well, we've only got a few design drawings of what it actually may have been, because there's no model or prototype in the museum at Kubinka to show us what the actual thing is, although there are several tanks that did become offshoots of the Object 705, such as the Object 752 and others. So I hope that you enjoyed that replay. It's quite a battle. If you did enjoy it, we haven't done the armor profile first. Let's have a quick look at that. Well, here's the armor profile for the Object 705, and you can see with the collision model, you can see massive and angled armor at the front. It's 155 millimeters the angle, but the armor, the impact value, but it's angled at 52 and 53 millimeters, showing that the effective armor is 260. So they've managed to keep the weight down by angling it very, very heavy. There's where the engine is. You can see where the driver is. He's right in the center there, but the engine is directly behind him, and the crew are in the back area here. Now, if we look at the front of the turret, you can see if you're looking at this face on, it's very difficult to penetrate, because if you fire at the roof, the shell's going to ricochet off. There's no cupolas as such that you can aim at. Nothing you can see, just a couple of viewports. But look at all that thick, heavy armor. Shells are just going to bounce off that. The only way you can attack this tank is from the side or from the rear. And yes, you can easily penetrate it at the rear, which is why he was worried about those tanks crossing down south, because of course, if they had his rear, they could shoot him in the rear and kill him easily. And even if you're shooting side on to this tank, you can still get through the armor, because of course it does have fairly thin armor on the sides to bring down the weight. And this tank was 70 tons, but they actually said that it was 65 tons because, of course, they're counting its non-loaded weight, so without the ammunition or the fuel and everything. But you can see as well, it's actually got a V-shaped hull, or a diamond hull, which meant that shells would ricochet off, and if a mine went off underneath, the blast would go outside, not into the crew, because it would be deflected by the V-shaped hull. So it's a very interesting tank, but it never actually came to be. If I show you the live model as well, you can see even the angling the armor just brings up the frontal armor even more. But you do have this weak spot area here at the front where you can get shells in. And you can see the angling there of the hull, the V-shaped hull. Lower plate's a bit vulnerable, but you don't want to show that if you can help it. It's only 120 impacted, but it angles out to 205 or so. But you can penetrate that with a, I think this is the 13 centimeter gun. If we put that down to a 122, which is the one that Sly was actually carrying, and then you can actually see that with the 122, yes, you can still penetrate the lower hull, but the top of the tank is virtually impenetrable. Only the sides and the rear can easily be penetrated. So this is a tank that you want to be head on to the enemy if you can, and try and cover that lower plate so that the enemy can't shoot at it. Or you can angle And that will do about the same. You can see if it's slightly angled, you can get the enemy that way. So I hope you enjoyed that replay. I certainly enjoyed watching it. If you did enjoy it, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And of course, apologies to SlyMeerkat that this replay has actually been waiting for many months for him to actually see it with our commentary. I'm sure he's pleased to see it now. And also for Slimes to see it as well, because although you do see Slimes killed at a rather unfortunate moment, but it looks like he was throwing his body in front of Sly to keep him alive. At least that's what we'll say. Anyway, thanks for watching.